Hey, what's up guys? This is Jonathan Dre from the Boys of Outspoken. Josh here.
I'm Brian.
Yeah, my name is Jeb Acosta, and this
is my coming out story.
Is my coming out story.
And this is my coming out story.
is my coming out story.
My coming out story is kind of a little bit tricky. So my coming out story...
My coming out story. So I actually never really okay, so I was kind of forced to come out.
My coming out story is actually a still going story. It's a story of me accepting myself, accepting my sexuality, understanding my sexuality, and actually being able to divulge that to my friends and family.
I think coming out comes in a process, you know, like there's different phases to it. I had like one friend know and then a couple friends know. I first came out to my best friend and she took it really, really well. I was literally like, Becky, there's something I want to tell you, but it's really, really hard for me. And she's like, oh my God, you're gay, you like guys. I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh my God, I'm so excited, now we can go shopping together. And I was like, bitch. But it ended up working out really well because mine and her friendship got really a lot tighter. I had a lot of support from my friends in high school. I didn't really come out until I was like 18 or 19. They had a feeling, but most of them didn't really know at first. And one of my friends actually came out as gay in high school, and I still was pretending like, oh, it's just him, not me. And then once me and him started talking, everybody else quickly found out. So that was kind of how I came out to my friends.
My coming out story started when I was actually back in '07. You know, I had a little Razor phone thinking I was cute. You used to get on these gay chats through your phone, and so I used to talk to these guys. But one day I fell asleep, and my brother happened to look at my phone. I didn't know it at the time. Fast forward later that day, and he was like, Jeff, I have a question. I was like, yeah, what's up? He's like, and he's gay too, my older brother. He just came out to me like a year ago. And I was still in the closet, girl. Like, she likes girls. But, and then he's like, he asked me a question. He's like, who's by soccer guy 89? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, who's so-and-so 84? I'm like, all these screen names of these guys I'm talking to. And I'm like, they're my friends. We talk about sports. Well, actually, I didn't sound like that. I was like, they're my friends. We talk about sports. And he's like, Jeb, that's not the case. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, Jeb, you're gay. I was like, what? He's like, just say it. He's like, when you say it out loud, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. He's like, it's okay. And then I just started crying. I was just like, oh my God, like, you're right, Robert, I am gay. Just please don't tell Mom. And so, of course, he did. A few months later, after picking me up from college, she asked me about it. And I told her, yeah, I am gay. And she told me, it's okay, I still love you the same. You're my son, and I'll always love you the same.
Of course my friends know. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Lived here all my life, never lived anywhere else. A lot of my new friends, of course, know because they see me in the clubs and things. Having that said, my mother and my other family members are not too sure.
Coming out to my family was a little different though. It was kind of like a chain reaction. I waited a little bit with my family. My brother was like my actual first like relative that I came out to. He was coming to visit me here in LA, and we got inside my apartment and I was like, Joey, there's something that I need to tell you. And I was getting a little choked up and it was really hard for me to do it. But then he's like, does this have anything to do with your sexuality? And I'm like, and then he's like, you're gay, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And then I started crying because I thought he wasn't gonna take it well. But then he just gave me a big old hug. He's like, bitch, shut up, you're my brother. I love you no matter what. And he gave me a hug, and yeah. So that was pretty much my coming out story. And then he went and told the rest of my relatives, and we all just act like I've always been gay. So it's pretty easy for me. My mom was a different situation. I had been living in LA already for a couple of years. I was in my early 20s. And every time I went home to visit, I wanted to tell her, and I felt like, you know, this urge, like you just have to get it off your chest. You know, there's just this weight on you when people that you love don't know. So every time I had tried to build myself up and tell her, and a few times went by and I didn't. And one time we were on the way to the airport, she was gonna drop me off, and I was the whole time in the car ride, I'm trying to think of the words, and I'm like anxious and nervous and not knowing what to say. And then we finally get to the airport and we're like gonna get my bags out of the car, and I was like, Mom, I have to tell you something. She's like, what? And I'm like, so you know that guy who she thought was my roommate at the time, so he's not just my roommate, he's my boyfriend.
and she wasn't thrilled. She was a little upset. She said something along the lines of, I was always worried about this, or I always thought this, and that really sucked in the moment. I sat in the airport and cried, looking like a crazy person, because it was such an awkward moment between me and my mom, who have always been really close. And we didn't talk for a couple days after that, which was really hard for me too. But this was many years ago, and now my mom is one of the biggest supports in my life when it comes to being gay. She loves Randy, my boyfriend. She's always supporting us. Sometimes it just takes a little bit for people to come to terms with it, and it is different for all of us and our families, and you don't know how people react.
I feel like coming out is about a journey. It's not just about, you realizing that you're gay and then all of a sudden just coming out the closet. It's getting to know yourself internally and then saying, I'm ready to express that to the world.
And if you aren't out yet, it does take time, but when you get there, you're gonna feel so amazing about yourself.
Coming out is something that all of us as LGBTQ people have to do at some point in our lives. It's not easy, it's never easy.
Now, if you're not out, I want to let you know, I'm not judging you. Do you and take your time, but just know it is a better life.
It's different for all of us. You can be 40 and not out. You can be out when you're 14 these days. So there's no right way to do it. There's no right time to do it. It all depends on you and what feels comfortable to you. Anyone who's out, I think, would probably agree that it definitely does get better in some form or fashion, just being yourself and living your authentic life.
There's something about living your truth that I don't think anyone else can know unless you're doing that currently. If you're not out, it's something you're not going to understand until that's the case. So
that's my coming out story.
My coming out story.
My coming out story.
that's my coming out story.
Happy National Coming Out Day!
From the boys of Outspoken.
Brian, I'm a power bottom.
Brian, I'm a power bottom. I love fisting and
Hi, how's it going? My name is Jeb Acosta from the Boys of Outspoken, and this is my coming out story.
I'm gonna digitally black out
That was Dave.
Hi, I'm Brian from the Boys of Outspoken, and this is my coming out story.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, my name is Jeb Acosta, and this is my coming out story.
Happy National Coming Out Day, and remember, it gets better.
Quick little
Not really, but
All right, my coming out story is a little different. So, okay. Oh, my foot's cramping. I used to get online on the hello. 2, 3.
Happy National Coming Out Day.
Happy National Sorry.
Okay, wait.
What's going on, y'all? Happy National Coming Out Day. Bitch, if you ain't out, come the fuck out. It feels so good out here.